Hello everybody, this is Nick from BIM Pure. In this video, I will show you all of the steps to model a steel structure, including the columns, the beams, and placing the joists using a beam system. I am not a structural engineer, but I've learned a lot from a recent session with Desiree McKee about Revit steel modeling. That was a 90-minute session where Desiree explained all advanced steel modeling concepts. In this video, I'm trying to apply what I've learned from her by building a simple steel structure. Let's start by adding some families. I will just use the default Autodesk one. I will click on Load Autodesk Families, and I will say Steel Columns. In this case, which one should I use? I will just use the W profile. So I guess this wide flange should be good. When I click on Load, I would suspect that I'm gonna have, this one. So what dimension should it be? Typically something like 6 by 6 should work, so I will select this one. Then I'm going to load some beams. So I will search for steel beams, and I can load a C channel. Once again, it's going to ask me for the correct dimension. I will select one that seems to make sense. And finally, I'm going to load some joists. I'm not an engineer, so I'm not quite sure which one to use. Let's say that this one looks about fine. And yeah, what dimension should I pick? Okay, now I'm going to go to the Structure tab. I'm going to select the Columns tool, use Vertical Column. But here I will switch to using height instead of depth. And I can set the top floor, it's going to be L2. And I can see the automatic unconnected height. And then I can select the Add Grids intersection. I can select all of these grids, and you can see that the columns are automatically placed. And there is my current view. Next, let's place some beams. I'm going once again to go to the Structure tab, select Beam. Just ensure that you're selecting the correct one. I don't want this one. I'm going to select W shapes instead. Not sure which one is the best. Let's pick this. Seems to make sense. And then I can select on grids, and once again I can select all of the grids, click on Finish, and then I can go to a 3D view. So they've been set to the wrong level, but it's easy to fix. So I'm going to select them all, click on the filtering, select Structure Framing Other, and here instead of level 1, I can click on Edit Work Plane and use level 2 instead of level 1. And there you go, they're all automatically placed. And what's nice about this kind of steel modeling is that the joints are automatically dealt with. So you can see that we don't have intersections between these columns and all the different beams. Okay, and now I want to place the joist using a beam system. First, I want to have the 3D view next to the floor plan view. I will hit shortcut WT, just like that. And now I'm going to go back to the Structure tab and go to Beam System, just right here. It's using the automatic beam system. That's good. Let me select the correct beam type. So I'm not using a W. Let me just use this joist girder family right there. Then I can select fixed distance or maximum spacing. Let's say the fixed distance of 3 feet. That seems like it makes sense, right? I don't know. I'm not a structural engineer. Then I can hover my cursor, and if I hover over the vertical grids, the joists are going to be placed vertically, but if I do so on the horizontal one, they're going to be horizontal. So which one of these makes the most sense? I don't know. Let's say that I'm placing them horizontally, just like this. So now I click, and if I go to my 3D view, I can see that the joist families have indeed been placed inside my span. And right now we're having a conflict between the joists and the beams with the height. So to fix that easily, I can select the joist system and set an elevation from level. In this case, I think it's 7.5 inches. And now we can see that they're sitting on top of the steel beams. Then I can keep making the other beam systems, and just for fun, I can experiment by placing them in different directions. Also, I can preset the offset from level instead of setting it afterwards, so I don't have to modify. So now I'm just having fun and placing all these joists. The great part about using grids this way is that if I move one of the grid, for example, you can see that the complete systems move along with it. I don't have to manually adjust anything. I can simply move the grid. Now, let's say there's a hole for stairs or some sort of shaft in this specific section. First, let me model the beams that are going to go around it. So I will just select a regular W shape. I will set them to level 2. Then let me just draw something like this. Again, I use the trim tool inside of the 3D view. Now, if I want to model a beam system with joists that respect these openings, I can go to beam systems. Once again, I can just use the regular automatic. Let's say it's something like that. I can click. But when I'm done now, I can select the whole system, go to edit boundary. There's this tool that is called pick support. And now I can simply select all of these 4 beams and click on the green check to complete. There's some sort of bug, but you can see it still works overall, right? I have my beam system, but it ends at these elements. So if I have a shaft or stairs, everything is good. And that's it for this tutorial. Again, we scratched the surface of steel modeling. If you want a session with a real structural engineer, check out a session called Revit Steel Modeling that I had with Desiree McKee. And along with this session, you can explore our full list of live masterclasses with various experts like Paul Oben, Brian McKee, the Slantis team, sessions about D5 rendering, lookup tables, Dynamo, content catalog, the Revit API, and more. Enroll now at bimpure.com to unlock all the content